Hey there, it's Roisin Curie here with another video all about sketching. I was in Lanzarote and around the pool where I was staying, they have these magnificent cacti. I love to sit there in the mornings and paint them. And I started off after I'd made the spiky drawing. I added a few drops of ink to a water brush and added a little water on top of that. It's the Frida sketch ink by Roland Klingner. And the idea is that you can put on the ink in the water brush for the shadows, and when it's dry you can add paint and the ink doesn't budge. I did two versions of the same subject. This one here, which is done on tea soaked paper, and then I did the one on regular sketchbook paper in a Hahnemühle sketchbook. But I wasn't 100% delighted with the result. I felt I had more to do, so a few days later I went back to have another go. Now, the little place where I was sitting was peppered with beautiful little agaves and cacti, and I do love the strong shapes of the agave leaves, and I draw them directly with pen, which of course means that I make the odd mistake. So once I've waited for the ink to be bone dry, I can use white gel pen to scribble on top of the wrong bits. Then I put in a few spikes, and then because I had some green ink with me, I drew the plants in the background with green. Then it was time to paint. Now I'm using a water brush because first of all it's very convenient, and secondly I forgot to bring my collapsible water container with me on holidays to Lanzarote. So I'm restricted to doing everything with a water brush, but it is a great little device, and as long as you keep a few with you, you will find that you should have one that has some water left, because they do tend to run out. Now, the colour of the leaves of agaves is a really mysterious sort of a blue-green. And I say mysterious because if you make it too bluey-green, it just looks fake and unnatural. So you can see here I was experimenting and sort of alternating between a yellow-green and a blue-green to see which one looked kind of more realistic. I'm not sure I got the feel of it at all, no matter what I did. But what I did do was I tried to rely on the little tricks and techniques that I'm very familiar with, such as darkening up behind a bit of foreground. And that just makes the bit of foreground stand out really well. So you can see I'm doing that here. I am just adding a little bit of extra dark green to the parts of the leaves that are in shade and a little bit darker. Now, I drew one of the big fat mother-in-law's armchairs, as they're known, in the foreground and got many of my lines in the wrong position. But I wasn't too worried because I knew that the cactus was going to be painted a very dark green and it was going to be smothered in very sharp white spikes. So I figured that even with all these mistake lines, I figured that I'd get away with it. Then I added the little bits of pecan, the little bits of black gravel that the whole island is made out of. And then it was time to paint in the pecan in a really deep, dark, bluey grey colour that is just, I don't know, it's such a lovely colour. Then I put on this inky blue, and then I thought, well, I'm not going to do the whole thing because while I do love my water brushes, they're not great for covering large areas. Well, eventually I got it all done and I wasn't too displeased with the result. I think it's okay. So that's the one on the Hahnemühle 250 gram watercolour sketchbook. However, I had enjoyed the sketch that I made with the tea-stained paper, and I figured I wasn't quite done with it. So I took out another piece. I brought a few with me, and I used my Frida again in the my Frida ink in the Fude pen to draw the outlines. Now, the only thing about painting on tinted paper or paper that you've stained is the colours don't come out amazingly bright. But the rules still apply of values and darkening and all that good stuff. And I did use my white gel pen rather freely to get the outlines of the leaves. And I'm not displeased with the result. I think it's okay. But I have to say that I definitely got a desire to draw agaves out of my system. And I had a fabulous time doing it. Now, I could have done without the guy cleaning the pool tiles behind me continually with his machine that he pushed back and forth on the same spot for the hour that I was there. But that's the way it goes when you're sketching on the spot. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you learned something. And I look forward to seeing you next time.